Hey guys, welcome back. Let's chill and talk together again. So, today I want to talk about trends and how trends have become this trend mill. We are living in a trend mill. Uh, and the ever evolving trends, the trendification of everything, like everything is a trend now, right? And we have a sense of how all these trends and trendification of everything and the speed in which these trends are changing are affecting our society as a whole, our self esteem, our overconsumption, our culture, our increased waste, solid waste, landfills, reduced quality of fashion, faster and faster fashion. We have a sense of how these trend mills are affecting us on the individual level and at a global scale. And I'd like to provide my own approach to it and the simple solution to our trend problem. So, the trend mill is affecting young people's self esteem, right? Trends have formed this exclusive club, depending on which side of the internet you're on, which school you go to, your age, your gender, your location, whatever. Depending on your circumstances, there is an exclusive club closest to you that you can potentially access if you catch up with the trends, right? So you could be going to a certain high school, and that high school has formed this exclusive club where there are certain trends you have to keep up with, right? And if you don't keep up with these trends, you're essentially not part of this club. You're not a part of the social in circle. You're not accepted socially by this club of people that are following these trends, right? And because trends are changing so fast these days, because we're on a trend mill, right? There are 3 things you need to consistently have to be a part of this club. You need to be rich, at least rich enough to afford all the clothes and accessories and technologies and things that make up these trends. You need the money to be able to buy the newest iPhone, the newest shoes, the newest glasses, the newest makeup. You need a lot of money to keep up with trends, right? So you need to be rich. The second thing you need to have is the looks. Now, the weird thing about this is there are body trends as well. There are trends about different body types, different face shapes, face types. The second thing you need to have is in and of itself also become a trend. So you need good looks. You need to be pretty. But the definition of pretty and the definition of good looking is also constantly changing. So you need to look good enough to the point where trends don't affect you that much, right? So typically that would be like a athletic, fit, skinny person with a nice face and nice features. That is like the stereotypical good-looking person that would be able to fit in with most trends, right? As long as it's not an extreme trend like the Kim Kardashian hourglass body or the heroin chic, anorexic supermodel type trend. As long as it's not those 2 extremes, most, I guess, conventionally attractive people would be able to fit in with trends. Third thing you need is always being in the loop. And always being in the loop means you have to be chronically online, or you need to be extroverted. So you either have to be chronically online and constantly follow influencers and people that your exclusive club follow, or you need to be confident and extroverted and have a lot of friends that will basically keep you in the loop as to what the newest trends are and when they're changing and when to follow the next trend, basically. So if you don't have these three things, you can't get in the club. You are considered like a social outcast, I guess, or you feel that way, and you just don't feel cool. You don't feel like people will accept you because you're not trendy enough. And these trend mills are affecting the most impressionable people, which are usually in middle school or high school. And teenagers haven't developed a sense of self. They don't have a solid foundation for their self-esteem because, hormones have shaked things up a bit. So they unwittingly tie trends and following trends to their self-image and their self-esteem. And most people don't have the finances or the abilities or the looks to follow these trends. And nobody should be following trends that change every month, right? Like, that's such an artificially skewed concept. Like, having to follow trends that change every month is crazy. It's crazy work. Like, it's crazy. Following trends shouldn't be the prerequisite to social acceptance, right? We shouldn't be forming these exclusive clubs where you can only be accepted and cool and popular as long as you follow those trends, right? We shouldn't be creating clubs like that in the first place. It's in our nature to desire a sense of community. We want to be accepted in a group, and we want to be accepted as part of the group, as part of the community. So it's a natural human desire, but trends were never the prerequisite to be accepted by a community until very recently, right? In the caveman days, Neolithic period, all you had to do was be alive and be a usually good person who followed along with the rituals and superstitions and practices of your community to be accepted by the community, right? If your tribe dances around the fire at night, all you have to do is dance around the fire at night a few times, and you're accepted by the tribe as a member of the tribe, right? So you don't have to do much to be accepted. Things sort of start to change when certain belief systems and religions pop up from ancient times to before the Industrial Revolution. If your community was believing in a certain religion, all you had to do was believe in that religion as well and go along with the rituals and holidays and celebrations of that religion to be a part of that community. So up until recently, just believing in the same things, or at least pretending to, and going along with certain rituals and celebrations and superstitions, and, being an overall good person, a useful member of society, was enough to be accepted by your community, right? By the community that you live in. That's all it took to be socially accepted. Now, the aristocracy, the bourgeoisie, they're like, the nobility is a completely different story. Nobles, to be accepted by nobles, you had to be a noble, and if you are a noble, you have to keep up with the fashion trends, because fashion trends were made up by nobles, and the only people who could keep up with those fashion trends were nobles, because they were the only rich people. Well, I guess except for merchants. But, you know, if you didn't have the money, if you were just a regular peasant, regular peasants didn't have trends to follow. You made your own clothes, you wore them until you couldn't repair them anymore. If you lived in Europe, you had to be a Christian. Depending on which village you lived in, you had to be a certain type of Christian. You had to believe in superstitions and things like that. So there were no trends to follow unless you were a noble and you had to keep up with the trends of high society. Now it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, everyone is treating society as high society. But here's the thing, right? If we're constantly trying to follow and keep up with the trends, when do we find the time and space and opportunity to self-reflect about our own interests, our own desires, our own self-esteem and sense of self? When do we have the time and energy to actually self-reflect about what authenticity means to us, what self-esteem means to us, how we can strengthen our self-esteem and strengthen our sense of self? When do we have the energy to figure out, what do I actually enjoy? How do I actually enjoy showing up in the world? How do I actually enjoy dressing? What clothes do I actually like? What hobbies do I actually enjoy doing? Like, when do we have the time to figure that out? Following trends doesn't give us that time. Following trends doesn't give us the opportunity to discover who we are, or at least want to be at any given moment. And that affects our self-esteem. And it affects our self-esteem in unconscious ways. It like plays in the background while we're trying to follow the trends, right? Short shorts might be in trend, for example. And you might not like the look of your legs because they're not a certain shape. And or you might actually want to dress more modestly, but the trend is short shorts. So you feel the need to wear short shorts. But because you're insecure about your legs and or because you want to dress modestly, you wear the short shorts, but you're always uncomfortable, right? There's always this discomfort in the background. And you're trying not to think about it because short shorts are the trend and you want to be accepted and you want to fit in with this club. But you're not being true to yourself. You're not listening to you. And when you don't listen to you, and instead you listen to the trends, there's this disconnect between how you're behaving, how you're showing up, and how you want to behave, how you want to show up. And that is damaging your self-esteem. That is damaging your sense of self. That is damaging your mental health, and you're not even aware of it because you don't want to be, because you just want to fit in and be cool and accepted. So the solution to these trend mills, the solution to increasing our self-esteem and, not following these trends, not creating these trends in the first place, isn't as simple as saying, oh, just don't seek external validation, don't seek acceptance. Well, it's a natural part of human nature. It's a natural human desire to be a part of a community, right? So you can't just... The solution isn't just to stop seeking external validation and, just accept yourself, right? I don't think it's as simple as that, but we do need to have the courage to be more ourselves. We need to have the courage to be more authentic And we need to have the courage to actually self-reflect. What do I like? What do I enjoy doing? How do I enjoy showing up in the world? What kind of clothes do I actually like? Do I actually like this trend that is happening right now? Do I actually like Uggs or iPhones or short shorts or whatever? I don't follow trends, so I don't know what the current trend is. And current trends are different depending on which exclusive club or what side of the internet you're on. It depends on a lot of different things. So there are a lot of different trends going on simultaneously, and the set of trends that you are closest to will determine what trends you're currently seeing. But in any case, we need to actually figure out who we are or who we want to be, how we want to show up as, how we want to behave, what clothes we actually want to wear, what our interests and tastes are, and what authenticity means to us. We need to figure that out. And once we do, you can cherry pick the trends, right? You don't have to exclude yourself completely from every trend. You might find that there's a certain trend that actually fits your aesthetic, your personal style, right? So once we figure out how we want to be, how we want to show up, we just have to build the courage to live in accordance with those things, right? Regardless of what trends are going on. And I think we overestimate the importance of those trends. I've never seen someone reject me or say, I don't want to be your friend because you're not trendy. I think we overestimate the importance that these trends have on our social interactions. Would you personally judge someone and stop being their friend if they weren't following the trends? Would you seriously choose your friends only based on how trendy they were? And if that's the case, does that mean you stop being friends with that person once they are unable to follow those trends? That doesn't make sense, right? You don't base your friendships or your social interactions on trends. You don't talk to people based on how trendy they are, right? So it doesn't really matter if someone's following a trend or not. If they're a good person, if they're kind, if they're respectful, if they're happy to be around you, you would still want to be their friend, right? So I think we just have to realize that trends are overrated, and we overestimate their importance in our daily social lives. So we just need to have the courage to be ourselves, to be authentic, to wear the clothes that we want to wear, to buy the things we want to buy without having to get caught up in these trends. Because regardless of what trend is going on, as long as you're a good person, as long as you're respectful and kind, as long as, you're happy to be around people you like, those people are most likely going to interact with you in a positive way. Those people are most likely going to accept you. Who doesn't want a friend that is kind and respectful and happy to be there, right? Who doesn't want a friend that's a joy to be around? All you need is good character. All you need are good character skills and communication skills. Now, I'm not saying everyone will respect you and like you and love you. There are bound to be people who don't like you for whatever reason they come up with, but that's not in your control. You cannot control who likes you and who doesn't like you. And because you can't control who likes you and doesn't like you, it doesn't matter if you follow trends or not. If you manage to follow every single trend, the people that don't like you will still not like you, right? you can't do anything to make them like you. And even if you can, like, that's not, they don't actually like you for you. They like you for who you've shaped yourself into. So in essence, trends are impossible to follow. We shouldn't be following trends. We should be following our hearts. And we shouldn't be putting trends on like these pedestals, because when it comes to social interaction, when it comes to social acceptance, all that really matters is your character, how you show up as a person, like your energy, your communication skills, your kindness, your presence is all that really matters. Because regardless of how you show up, if someone wants to dislike you, they will dislike you. It doesn't matter if you follow trends or not. Like, you can be the trendiest person in your school, and if someone wants to hate you, they will hate you, right? So social acceptance has actually very little to do with how trendy you are, how much you can follow the trends. So we just need to have the courage to show up authentically, and that requires self-reflection, self-exploration, to find out what authenticity means to you, how you actually want to show up, and show up that way. And if there are people that match your vibe, you will be friends with them. Isn't it better to be friends with people you actually vibe with, rather than friends that are connected based on these superficial, artificial trends? Your self-esteem will thank you if you have the courage to be yourself. And regardless of how many friends you have and how socially accepted you are, if you're able to be yourself, at least you will feel better about yourself. And at the end of the day, how you feel about yourself is what stays with you. So it's better to just feel better about yourself and feel good about what you're doing and how you're showing up, rather than trying to chase trends that will never stay in place. Yeah, so that's all I have to say. Let's have the courage to be yourselves. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider checking my other videos, and please consider subscribing to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Yeah, so thank you. Take care. Bye.